Hello and welcome to Witness. I'm Raghi Omar. In 2007, 86 journalists were killed simply for doing their job. The majority of these were in Iraq, but the list of dangerous places in which telling the truth can get you killed is long and varied. The situation is so bad in many places that journalists are forced to flee. But there is one place where haunted and hunted journalists can feel safe, and it's in Paris, La Maison des Journalistes. Now, the idea of a shelter for journalists may sound bizarre, but it's a reflection of the reality today. The refuge was established in 2002, the brainchild of Philippe Spinot and Daniel Owayon. Today, it's home to 15 men and women persecuted for telling the truth. The home gives them a refuge for 6 months and a chance to start a new life. Christine Garabedian's documentary tells the story of persecuted reporters from all over the world who find sanctuary in the house of journalists.
Quand il était tabassé, et là, il y a aucun d'autre. Vous êtes obligé de tomber par terre, là, parce qu'il n'y a personne qui va te ramasser. Vous restez par terre.
Te mantienen durante altas horas, entre 24 horas en pequeños recintos con 24 horas las luces encendidas, bombillos incandescentes, mucho calor. Y cuando llevas días en ese ambiente eres sacado a cuartos refrigerados solamente por nada.
يعني انت من تشوفين التعذيب لمدة مثلا 4 أيام أو 5 أيام بعد ما جسمك ما يتحمل. فأنت خلاص أنت بكل الأحوال انتهى أمرك.
This is the story of a unique house in Paris. It's a refuge for journalists from all over the world who were forced into exile. They suffered torture, death threats, and imprisonment because they dared to tell the truth about their countries. Philippe Spinot worked with journalists throughout his career as a filmmaker. He is one of the founders of this home, and now he runs it.
Nous avons créé la Maison Journaliste pour aider, accueillir et aider à l'intégration des journalistes qui demandent l'asile politique à la France. Ce sont des gens qui ont pris des risques énormes de vie personnelle, de vie professionnelle. Et il nous a semblé naturel, lorsqu'on a créé la maison, de les aider, de leur apporter toute l'aide possible, de façon à ce que leur travail soit reconnu. Ce sont quand même des gens qui ont osé alors que d'autres n'osent pas. Ce sont des gens qui ont dit non à un moment quelconque de leur vie, ça c'est très important. Et je pense qu'il est nécessaire de reconnaître ces gens, parce qu'ils ont dit non.
When this safe haven was founded in 2003, Philippe and his co-founders got backing from French media organizations and the European Union in support of their ideals. Besides Philippe, only 2 other people work here regularly. Manuel, the caretaker, lives here with his family. Darlene teaches the residents French, and every other week a psychotherapist comes in to provide them with emotional support. These days, it's no surprise that several of the residents are Iraqi. Adil al-Dhulaimi is from Baghdad. He paid a terrible price for his work as a newspaper journalist.
يعني أنا هاي القصة مو ما أحب أتذكرها، وإنما ما أريد أنساها. أنا ما أريد أتذكرها بس ما أريد أنساها.
شو صار فيك؟
شو صار في؟ كلاب من اللي ما يسمى بالحرس الوطني العراقي واعتقلوني ووضعوني بسيارة وبهذلة. ليش؟ يقولوا لي إرهابي. كان قلمي إرهاب. كان يعني المشكلة أنا ما في يوم تدخلت بالمواضيع السياسية، أنا كنت أكتب ثقافي، يعني ثقافي.
عن شو كتبت؟
كتبت عن الحب. أنتم مو كان ما تذبحون بشر، صافحة صيروا قلب واحد. هذا بلدنا. ليش احنا نظل بالسلاح والقتل؟ ليش ما يرجع مثل الأول، بيتي ينفتح لكم؟ الآن بالعراق الجار مع الجار ما يأمن بجاره، يخاف من جاره.
It's not just newspaper reporters who are persecuted. Jean-Eddy was a radio journalist in Haiti. He has been waiting to get political asylum in France for more than 2.5 years. Jean fled Haiti because he said things the government didn't want to hear. He also allowed people on his radio show to express their views freely.
Alors, vous n'avez pas le droit de dire que je n'aime pas ce gouvernement. Parce qu'un jour, moi, j'ai dit que je n'aime pas Jean-Bertrand Aristide.
Jean was arrested, tortured, and sexually assaulted. When he arrived in France, he was close to dying from his internal injuries.
Tu t'es mal là?
Oui, là, je suis mal, là.
Tu t'es maigre, hein?
Oui, je suis très maigri ici, là.
Si tu étais resté, il t'aurait tué.
Oui. Bon, parce que quand il était tabassé, et là, il n'y a aucun d'autre. Vous êtes obligé de tomber par terre, là, parce qu'il n'y a personne qui va te ramasser. Vous restez par terre.
Torture, incarceration, and even murder are common in countries where journalists are seen as a threat. The residents of this home are the lucky ones who got away. Adel was one who survived to tell the tale.
يعني شفت كيف يتم تعذيب الناس وكيف يتم.
عم فكر فيك بس عادل. كان بدهم يقتلوك؟
طبعا.
انت كنت بالسجن؟
طبعا. لحد وين كنت؟ كنت بالسجن انتظر مصيري امتى يجي، امتى يصير. امتى راح يكون لحظة الشروع. هم يسموها لحظة الشروع، ما شاء الله عليهم. وامتى راح يأتي يجيب، يعني صار القتل بالدريل. تعرفين الدريل الكهربائي والمنشار. هاي القتل ما شاء الله تفننوا بيه. فهم عم يقرون مثلا، يقرون هيك فد اسامي ويدخلون.
شو عملوا؟ ضربوك؟ شو صار؟
هاي يعني أنف، أسنان، يعني تشوهات في الظهر، يعني كثير.
Adel is safe in this house. Philippe is giving him all the practical help and guidance he needs to face the difficulties and solitude of his forced exile.
Le recours, c'est toujours personnel. Ce n'est pas une association, ce n'est pas une entité, c'est une personne.
Kumojo is more fortunate than most because he came with his wife. He is Burmese and spent time in prison simply for being interested in politics.
This is a democracy is a very difficult. This is a bamboo. Bamboo climb to the very difficult. This is a military leader Tanshui. This weapon fighting to the Mon and the Pamel people. And behind the Total company is a France.
The Burmese military don't tolerate any form of political expression, and Kumojo was under threat. Fearing for his life and the safety of his family, he fled to Thailand and continued to draw. But he was in danger there too, and had to seek refuge in France. He is now waiting to be granted political asylum. Kumojo is still drawing political cartoons for Burmese opposition newspapers in exile. As a cartoonist, he can express himself here in France, even though, like many of the other residents, he speaks no French.
Et toi, quel est ton prénom?
Je suis Germany.
Non.
Yeah?
Ton prénom. Quelle est sa profession?
For men and women who once earned a living from writing, not knowing the language makes exile even more difficult.
Quelle est sa nationalité?
Elle est française.
Elle
est française.
Elle est française. Elle est française. Elle habite où? Elle habite Lille. Elle habite à Lille.
Although the residents here have a great deal in common as journalists and refugees, they have no common language to share their experiences.
Birman, c'est quoi? Ben oui. Bon, ok. Monsieur Cheng. Quelle est ta nationalité?
Je suis irakien.
Irakien. Tu viens de quelle ville?
Je suis Bagdad.
Je suis de Bagdad.
Bagdad.
Je viens de
Je
Bagdad.
viens de Bagdad?
Oui. Et toi, tu viens de quelle ville?
La Maison des Journalistes in Paris has 15 refugees living in it at any one time. They make this their home for 6 months, while they wait to obtain political asylum in France. Resources are limited and facilities are basic. Residents learn to manage their new lives and make the best of what this house offers. Many learn to do things for the first time. Some residents never get out of their rooms. The trauma of their experiences is too much for them to bear. Others had good reasons not to appear in this film. Though they are safe here, they feel vulnerable, and their families back home are still under threat. All live in hope that one day they will be able to go home.
These days, the media are blamed for a lot of things, but many reporters are out there simply trying to tell the truth. We'll be back with more after the break.